Hello, my name is Joseph Pirayou. I want to welcome you to today's program in the beginning, Ashur. As always, Assyria TV is on X, Rumble, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and also you can go to assyriatv.org. We have more than almost 6,000 videos of different subjects that you can watch. As always, thank you for watching this program. If you have any questions, any comments, you want to make it live, if I can answer, I will. If not, we every once in a while I do a Q&A program and go over some of the comments and questions that they were made. Anyway, today's program, homosexuality and Bible. It's a little different subject, of course, than normally I talk about. So why talk about this subject? Well, why not? Is it a taboo? It is a subject. And uh, for those of you that have seen this program, I talk a lot about Bible and Christianity, this program. And Bible is supposed to be the word of God. God teaching us how to live this earthly life according to his will so we can live with him in eternity. So I was thinking, well, I will get to main reason later on towards the end of the program, but uh, any subject that I have learned is that when we say homosexuality or sin or faith or anything, atheism, any subject, there is something that I think, there is subject that same subject other people think, and sometimes we might say, let's say about atheism, what we think, but when we compare notes, say, hey, I thought atheism was this. No, atheism was that. Then how do you get the subject that is out there? We can share it. Then we can talk about that subject on the same level. Like, for example, what is homosexuality, right? And I did some research and I'm just going to read for you about what is out there about homosexuality. Okay. So, what is a homosexual? A person who is sexually or romantically attracted to people of their own sex. Homo means the same, identical, like Homo sapien, identical being, or things like that. So, Homo means the same, identical. It is considered a natural form. It is considered a natural and normal variant of human sexuality, not a mental disorder or a choice. It's about attraction, same sex attraction. Also, the other information I found out about homosexuality is that understanding homosexuality is crucial for fostering acceptance, promoting equality, and creating inclusive environments. It's important to remember that all individuals deserve respect and dignity regardless of their sexual orientation. So, this is what is out there regarding homosexuality. And before I go further, that's why I brought it up. So, we'll be on the same page what homosexuality means out there. Now, uh, is anything mentioned in the Bible, right? This book, right? Holy Bible. Now, every time I talk about this book, I mention that you don't have to believe in this book. You don't want to be Christian, you don't want to believe, or whatever form of faith that you have. I don't believe in Bible. That's fine. That's great. The reason I'm bringing it up is that some information about certain aspects in life, one of them being sexuality, is being taught out there. And when you come to look in this book, you say, hey, wait a minute. I thought this was supposed to mean this way or that way. So it's what's in the book. right? You don't believe it? Fine. But that's in the book. What my problem is sometimes that's it. Don't change what's in the book. You don't believe it, that's fine. But don't change it and say it as what Christianity is all about. Anyway, don't want to talk too much about that part. So in the Bible, uh, is a mention in the Bible, right? Now, in fact, there is something that is mentioned in this book, and not many people like to talk about the subjects, like some kind of a taboo uh, when you talk about this. And when I was trying to prepare, I was like, uh, Joseph, how comfortable are you about the subject? Or to be more specific, how uncomfortable? You watching out there, what do you think? Are you comfortable with this subject? Are you uncomfortable? Like, what are you talking? Talk about other things. Well, I have a reason uh, that I said I will mention at the end. Now, as I said, homosexuality is mentioned in the Bible. Now, is homosexuality a sin? Right? Now, when we talk about sin, that's another subject. What is a sin? Because when you talk to different people about the word sin, you will hear different answers, opinions. Then we go to this book. According to this book, how did sin start? There is a story about Adam and Eve. Giuliano Khoshaba says man plus woman equals life. Beautiful, beautiful. That's great. Uh, what was I saying? Where was I? Ah, the story that of Adam and Eve is in the Genesis, and this is supposedly where the sin starts. Now, what happens? God tells this couple, don't do. Doesn't matter. Eat from the tree. Don't eat from the garden. Don't walk here. Don't do this. It's God said, I telling you, don't. They did. Result, death. Disobedience. That's the story. Disobedience is sin. There's a Greek word called hamartia. Hamartia, that means sin. Uh, it means missing the target. Can we show that photo of that target? So I'll be more, so we can communicate that better. Excuse me. So you look at this target. The red part is the target, right? When it says sin, means when you shoot at this target, you miss. You can miss by hitting number two. You can miss by hitting number three, four, five, six. But regardless how close you come, how far you go, miss is a miss. You are a sinner. Why am I bringing this up? As I go further, so it would be clear what is sin according to Bible. They say, well, we have a sin here, a sin there, lie, kill, steal, adultery, this, that, murder, sin. The root is disobedience according to this book. That's when the man fall. Man and woman, they said, we don't need you, God. We can do it on our own. And by not obeying God, what happened? Death entered. That's the story. All right. So death entered. You didn't obey God. So what happens after that is the story of Adam and Eve. Next, God picks this guy, Abraham. He says, hey, come here from Ur of Chaldee, come here. Wherever you go, I will give this land to you and you descend as long as you follow this. So the story from Adam and Eve continues, comes to Abraham. God picks him out and shows through him and his family, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Jacob later becomes Israel, has 12 children, 12 boys from 4 different women, but that's a different story. He has 12 children, and those 12 children become the Israel tribes of Israel. And the most of this book in the Old Testament follows those people, what they did. Then the Ashur nation comes in, and the nations, Israel is two parts, north and south. So those, what we see here is God through what he dealt with Israel continues, but it starts from Adam and Eve. And he pounds these people. He says, do this, do that, gives them 10 commandments, give them so many other commandments through this guy named Moses. So all these laws that God gave Moses is do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. There are so many laws out there that they should obey God. Now, some of these laws, death was punishment for breaking some of these laws. So I'm going to have go through some of the list of some of these laws that God gave Moses and Moses gave to people. He said, if you do this, you will die. List up some of these laws. Okay. That if you break them. Murder, if you kill somebody. Rape. Disrespecting parents. Do you believe that? Back in that time, if you disrespected your father or your mother, they would kill you. This is the Jewish law. I didn't know that. I was like, what? Disrespecting parents? How many of us is guilty of that? Kidnapping, adultery, witchcraft, sorcery, breaking Sabbath, not working on the day that you're supposed to rest, day of rest. If you worked on that day and somebody caught you, they would kill you according to the law. Disrespecting parents, breaking the Sabbath. Are you kidding me, man? These are tough laws, man. Giving false testimony, resulting in another person being put to death, and homosexual acts. Homosexual acts. So basically, according to the law God gave to Moses, you gay, you die. Right? End of story. Why should we go further? That's in the Bible. You know? And when you look at these laws, in order to break him, these are action involved offenses. You had to actually do them to be convicted of that crime. You had to actually murder somebody. You had to actually rape somebody, stealing, disrespecting parents, breaking Sabbath, and being homosexual. These are action involved. Why am I bringing this up? Because there's the law God gave to Moses. Homosexual, you die. Then you meet this man. They call him Jesus of Nazareth. And when you read, it's in the same book. That's the interesting part. It's in the same book. Kill the homosexuals. Later, we get to Jesus. Same book, New Testament, right? I thought it was like confusing, but maybe I can clear, because I had to clarify for myself what's going on here. Jesus comes, and there are a couple of things I would like to, as an example, use about some of the controversial comments and claims regarding some of these offenses. There are a couple of examples. There is one, what they call Sermon on the Mount, in Matthew chapter 5, verses 21 and 27. Jesus talks about murder and adultery. If you commit these acts according to the law of Moses, which is not the law of Moses, God gave to Moses, the God that Jesus claimed to be his father. Okay, so his father gave the law. Jesus says about murder and adultery. He says, if you're mad at your brother, if you see a woman and you just say, nice, you're done. You think it, you are guilty. I like the Old Testament rules better, because nobody can come up here think what I'm thinking. If I didn't do it, I didn't do it. Jesus says, no. If you think it, you are guilty. And being guilty, that means you're going to die. And in this case, it's not just a physical death, eternal punishment. I mean, do I need to close my eyes every time I go outside? When it's summertime, some women dress very light. What can you do? Keep my head down when I'm driving, I'm going to get into accident. Or maybe can get into accident by looking at somebody while they're driving. Is that clear? I mean, I'm trying to communicate that what is done out there about sin, missing the target. You miss it by a hair or by a mile. I'll talk about that a little bit furthermore. The other example is that they bring this woman. This is in John chapter 8. They bring this woman. She's caught during the act of adultery. Like, how desperate were you? What, you can find some place that nobody can see you? They found out. They caught her right in the middle of the act. That's what it says. They bring her to Jesus. And they tell him, according to the law, we have to stone this woman to death. What do you say, Jesus? And Jesus didn't answer them right away. They say, hey, come on, answer us. She was caught in the act of adultery. What do you say, rabbi, teacher, master? And while they're talking, Jesus is sitting writing with his finger on the sand. I don't know. Nobody knows what he was writing, and people try to speculate. I don't, because that's not the point. Then Jesus goes, do we have that photo? Jesus tells them, he that is without sin among you, let him cast the first stone. And what happens? You read further, and I tell you, I have this NIV, and the other one is not here, the word, which is 26 translations. NIV does not say what King James says. NIV says, he that is without sin among you, let him cast the first stone. They look at each other and they throw the stone and leave. King James says they're conscious. They started thinking, he that is without sin. This specific adultery, oh, she's an adult. I'm not an adulterer. I'm going to kill her. Just wait a minute. Maybe you haven't committed adultery, but have you obeyed God all days of your life? And those people, thank God, they were honest. Says, you know what? No, I have committed sins too. Maybe not adultery, so I don't have a right to kill her. And after they're gone, Jesus says, woman, where are your accusers? She said, there's nobody here. And Jesus says, I have nothing against you either. Go and don't do it again. Right? Two things, the examples. Jesus is teaching, not doing, thinking. What's in the heart? What was that? It's a transformation of inner attitude, not the outward action, not outward performance. Works of the flesh, works of the spirit. That's what Jesus, this is in the book. I'm not giving you opinions. You can check it out. I don't know why nobody talks about these things, but maybe they do. I don't know. Then the other part, first, that if you think it, you're a sinner. The second part is that Jesus acts as if he is the judge. Says, because if you're caught in the act of adultery, and these people that were sinners, they couldn't do it, they left. Jesus, from day one, obeyed his father. He had the right to kill her, and that would have been justified because she broke the law. He says, no, I forgive you. Go, don't do it again. Jesus, how can you achieve such a position? You know, how did he achieve that? So he can say, I. He forgave sins. People were like, there are other parts in the New Testament. Jesus is like, who is this guy? He's forgiving sins. And since they were like, he's committing blasphemy, he says, you know what? Let me show you something. He heals the person. The guy was sick. He touches him, tells him, get up and go. Everybody was like, wait a minute, what kind of a teaching is this? What kind of a person is this? But that's what happened. This is in the story, the Bible, and Jesus is talking about. And when we further read in the Bible, because of his obedience resulted in his resurrection after he was put to death. Because when he was alive, he fully obeyed his father. And even at the death, he said, let this cup pass by me, but Father, I will do whatever you ask me. Full obedience. None of us can say that we are fully obedient to our Father, Christian, whatever you want to call yourself. So we see because of sin, missing that target, death came, and through Jesus comes life. And there are a couple of things. Maybe I mentioned that, leave it for some other time. We're talking about faith. According to this book, those who trust him will have eternal life. The righteous will live by faith. You cannot please God without faith. These are verses from the Bible. Faith is action upon your belief. Faith comes by hearing, hearing the word of God. Let me read about this part that Paul talks in Romans chapter 3. I'm just going to go read over that. How much time do we have? All right. So let me read this for you. This is Romans chapter 3, I'll start with verse 19. Maybe you want to get the whole chapter, but the subject is no one is righteous. No one. No one is not anyone. Nobody. Verse 19. Now we know that whatever the law says, it says to those who are under the law, so that every mouth may be silenced and the whole world held accountable to God. Therefore, no one will be declared righteous in his sight by observing the law. Rather, through the law, we become conscious of sin. But now a righteousness from God, apart from the law, has been made known, to which the law and the prophets testify. This righteousness from God comes through faith in Jesus Christ to all who believe. There is no difference, for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God, and are justified freely by his grace through the redemption that came by Jesus Christ. I don't want to go any further with this. So, what am I saying? Regardless of what they call it, adultery, rape, all these things mentioned in the Old Testament that deserve death, disobedience. That's it. And nobody can do it. Jesus said, you think it, you're done, regardless. These guys came to kill that adulteress. Jesus said, are you sinless? No. So when it comes specifically to homosexuality, all right. Now, back 40, 50 years, majority of us lived in all these Muslim countries, Shiites, Sunnis, different, what they call it, ethnicity, if they want to call themselves, we lived among Turks, Arabs. Um, in those countries, homosexuality, like if you look at the Abrahamic faith, uh, Islam, Judaism, Christianity, these three religions, two of them, if you're homosexual, they can kill you by law. Judaism and Islam. Exodus chapter 20, I think that's when it mentions, if a man lays with another man, you put him to death. Homosexuality. Islam, same thing. Either you stone him to death or you take him to the highest place in that city, a high rise, you throw him down. If they die, great. If not, either you beat them to death or throw more rocks at them. I mean, you're hoping you die. So after coming out of these, majority of us have left, sorry, these countries coming to these Western, so-called Western societies, there is more freedom of expression. Then you have kids here, then you have grandchildren here. Now, with that freedom back in these Middle East countries, nobody would say, hey, hello, I'm gay, I'm homosexual, I'm lesbian, I'm this, I'm that. Nobody would do that. They would feel, I'm going to die. They kill me. My family disown me. But being in these countries, coming here as time goes by, there's more freedom. People say, I am who I am. As I read for you, homosexuality is not a choice. It is considered a natural and normal variant of human sexuality, not a mental disorder or a choice. It's about attraction. These people are attracted to the same sex. None of my business. Who cares? I like to be attracted by everybody. Well, maybe 30 years ago when I had hair, But you know what I'm saying, right? Homosexuality. Now, uh, do you know anybody that is homosexual? Some strangers, like movie stars or athletes, singers, somebody distant friend that you may know, some family member, your son, your own daughter, right? Maybe there is, when they are far, not related to you, says, yeah, whatever. When it comes home, when it comes home, when I mention about these Western societies, whatever it is, that freedom that they have, these people say, I'm not going to hide it. I am who I am. Mom, dad, I'm gay. I'm lesbian. Now, I don't know how, like all of them, when people come out, when they don't come out, when they are afraid. But being in California, in Bay Area, San Francisco, there is a place here, District, Castro District. This is where the gays, supposedly that was their area. But all of Northern California, Los Angeles, Orange County, we have a lot of people here. And since I had this program, I in contact with so many different people, and they ask me questions. Say, my friend is gay. What should I do? What does the Bible say? So talk to me. Why are you hiding? You know, because it's a taboo. Somebody's gay. So what? Jesus said, you disobey, regardless, you're going to hell. He's the only way. It's not the outside performance by rape, by murder, by this, by that. What has happened with my when I communicate with different people and hearing these? Maybe it's not a what they call it, uh, like it's not a big deal. It's not a pandemic, as they say, right? It's not that issue. Oh, there's a disease spread all over the Ashur community. But I can see it's something that should be put to stop before it spreads. Families disowning their own children. Even I know when I came to the United States like 40 some years ago, I knew some guys we met, they were different. And I said, oh, they're gay. Fine. I'm not. It's okay. You know, uh, let me see if we have some. Let me, real quick. This is a true story. There was this young guy, young man, 11, 12-year old, comes to his father and says, Baba, dad, father, whatever, says, what if I'm gay? What are you going to do? The father looked at him for a second and goes, well, you have to make sure you let me know if you are gay or not. He says, why? He says, if you are gay, the first thing that came to my mind is that you are my only son. I don't have another son. That means that if you are gay, you're not going to get married, you're not going to have children of your own. That means that I have to go back to your mother that I divorced 5 years ago. I have to go to her and try to be nice to her. Maybe we have a child, maybe it's a son, and hopefully will not be gay, so I can have grandchildren. And this sounds like, are you kidding me? Is this what you're thinking? He said, the father said, that's the first thing came to my mind, logical. But the son said, how about I'm gay? Said, hey, you're my son. At the end of the day, you're my flesh and blood. How can I deny you? I might not like what you're doing, but you're my flesh and blood. That's a true story. And he says, okay, are you or not? To his son. So I know what to do. Time is short. We're not getting any younger. He says, no, no, Babaja, no, no, I'm not gay. Now, the father was relieved, but he was thinking, am I relieved because my son is not gay? Or am I relieved because I don't have to go back to my ex and do all these things so I can have another son with her? You know, it's just the son was surprised. But the father, love of father, we learn from our father in heaven. Bab and Bishmeya. He says, trust me. I don't care who you are as far as what your sexual orientation, this and that. Come to me. Put your trust in me as Jesus did. Be like Jesus. So there's so much more to cover. But as I mentioned, Abrahamic religion, Islam and Judaism, they kill. We, the Christianity. So after all, you know, according to Bible, when you think about it, it says, as a Christian, live your own convictions. Read the Bible. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm not going to do. So as a Christian, Bible says, live your own convictions and see others through the eyes of Jesus. Hey, we are family, right? Assyrian, Chaldean, Syriac, man, woman, ugly, beautiful, straight, gay, lesbian, atheist, Orthodox, traditional, doesn't matter. We are all Ashur. Ahiya Ashur Chaya. Blessed be Ashur, the work of God's hand. Chaya Ashur. Shemid Ashur Mabqila. Thank you, and I'll see you next program. Goodbye.
Sheikhane.